A Russian ballerina stomping on a bureaucrat. A perky suburban housewife who's dipping a toe in scat. Skip it up, skip-it-a-bop, pow. It's whimsically volatile.
Gregory, are we rolling?
We are rolling.
May I pay you a compliment while you jigger the system
Why?
with your fingers?
Why, certainly, I would quite like that. Thank you.
Gregory, I would like to politely encourage you to eat my ass.
That's interesting. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't think right now I'm very interested, but...
I would like to politely encourage you to consider that my pussy is really an a-hole.
Ah, okay. Well, that I can...
Here we go.
Okay. Let's see. Is it ringing? Do you hear it ringing?
Here we go.
There we go. Let me turn it up.
Okay, here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this Lady Bunny?
Come a little closer because the mic's on this.
Okay.
Is that a yes? I'm not sure. Is that a yes or is that just...
I'm not sure either.
This is gonna be very difficult for me. Okay, first of all,
That's what we like.
first of all,
Rule number 1. Never let the interviewer get the upper hand
Greg,
by
this
just exchanging pleasantries. We're going deep, minted, dark, and hateful. 3, 2, 1.
Bunny, I would like to introduce you to my good friend Craig McNeil.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I believe we've met.
Ah,
in the
yes.
restroom of several LA bus stations.
I didn't think you'd remember.
I was in the woman's room. Do you think anyone noticed, or was I passing by?
Oh, you passed with flying colors.
Wait, Bunny is the...
gas out of my fake vagina.
Look, nothing felt fake, okay? It was very real on my end.
Oh my God.
Sometimes elderly, heavyweight drag queens enjoy a marijuana-infused butter for breakfast.
Oh, wait, Bunny.
And I was so full after eating 2 tubs this morning of marijuana oil butter.
Did you...
And I wasn't even able to put it on a roll. I didn't have room for any rolls or toast or anything.
2 tubs of fun.
That's right.
Bunyan, may I call you Bunyan?
Yes, you may.
I would like to relate, Craig. We went on tour once.
Uh-huh.
And Bunny, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said the following words to me. I'm going to go display my true hotness and eat this sandwich by the trash can. And she sure did. She chowed down like it was her last meal on earth, and she went...
Well, as much as that may be humorous for you, don't mock the hypoglycemic. So
are you hypoglycemic?
Well, my mom's a nurse, so I'm a hypochondriac, but she tells me I'm borderline hypoglycemic, which she says was really, she learned about when I would go to church. There would be we'd be there for so long that we wouldn't get home till 2 to eat lunch, and we'd had breakfast at 8 a.m. So I would have a hypoglycemic meltdown due to no food being in my body. So she says that I'm supposed to eat 6 smaller meals a day. Well, I got the 6 meals part, but I kind of left out the smaller. And, now we have girdles.
Yeah, but come on. Bunny, your legs, they don't stop. They go all the way up.
To my
Chins.
Beard.
Chins.
Yeah, they go all the way. It's just legs and beard. Well, my legs stay trim from carrying my fat stomach around. It's like wearing weights on your legs. Well, I do an act where I grow a beard to my knees and then strip by cutting it off.
You're a liar and a lecherous
It's a
creature.
great act, but you can only do it once every 5 years.
Oh, that's true. Bunny, can I ask you, how are you feeling today?
No. I'm great. I'm not negative. I am not negative. No, I am not.
No, she's a pause queen.
Ooh, I wouldn't go that far. Now, I'm in Hawaii, and it is so exquisite. I mean, I'm in an apartment where they had the AC turned on when I came in because it can be, moist, balmy, not in a I'm suffocating from the humidity August in Miami way, but in a way that is, you don't really want the AC on because you want that. The atmosphere in Hawaii is a combination of the flowers in the air. One smelled like cinnamon yesterday. Ooh. I mean, it was just outrageous. And also the sounds, like I went downstairs early in the morning before it was daylight, and there was like a tree full of birds that were just having a hootenanny. It was really, just like shaking the tree. I mean, and then you're hearing the sounds of, birds, animals. I was taking a video at the top of a mountain and yesterday, and just understood this wild lilting sound of the Hawaiian people. And when they speak, I wasn't pointing the camera at them, but I was just they were also tourists, so looking around. So it's just great it's an ambiance that you really. It's very relaxing for people who get keyed up. And I'm really not one to go to tourist spots because I don't like to bake on the beach. Yeah, me neither. But and I don't like places that are devoid of local color. But you just have to get off the plane and relax. And I every time I come here, I dream about my next time being here. I've never had time to go on the trips to the other islands or any of that. But so, I mean, I've only seen Waikiki and Honolulu. I'm in downtown Honolulu. Anyway, I performed at Scarlet. It was fun.
They're so, and Craig, the people at Scarlet, these guys, so some promoters, like Bunny will tell you, so some of these promoters are real trash. But the guys at Scarlet in Honolulu, they are.
Some of the performers are real trash.
Myself included. But some
That's why we get the gigs.
Yeah. Some of the promoters are real trash. But the guys at Scarlet, they go above and beyond. They ask you, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? And it's almost like they're trying to get you into a cult, Bunny. It's like amazing. They're so great at like, if you like, I want to go see a 96,000-year-old woman fart a goldfish out of her poontang into my mouth. They'd be like, yeah, 3 a.m. We know where to go. It's crazy.
Yeah, they'll sort it out for you.
How does your mom stay up so late?
Vyvanse.
I'm sorry. Is mom the correct word to use for your dad since he transitioned?
Listen, don't you dare slander the good name of the McCooks. I'll have you know, Bunny, my mom is actually a nurse too.
Oh, okay.
A psychiatric
For those of you who
nurse.
don't know about the wild conclusions that Katya is jumping to, my mother, Lady Becky, is a nurse.
Lady Becky.
You're a nurse. You make a difference.
Do you know, Craig, do you know Bunny's a songstress?
Yes, I do know that, yes.
Take Me Up High. Straight up to the ceiling. And I unironically enjoy this song so much. I probably listened to it, if I had to guesstimate, I'd probably listen to it about 65 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I love the Subgroover remix, the True to Something remix, all the remixes. True to Life. And there's like 4 or 5 remixes on that thing that I love every single one of them. It's a great tune.
Yeah, it was an expansive project, but there were more mixes than we needed, perhaps. But I think they were like at one point the label had got his boyfriend to do a mix, and I think it might have been his first. But hey, as long as you get the dick.
So, do you have you always loved to sing?
Always,
yep.
And always was set on fire by music, whether it's dancing to it or performing to it or singing to it. Because I'm mainly a comedian, I don't give the original music, which does not make money. It's actually an expensive hobby.
Yes.
Unless you're very lucky or just come off Drag Race or whatever.
Yeah.
It's music is an expensive hobby for most. Sure. I mean, it's not something that really, makes you money. And I mean, even people who have major contracts to record labels, I mean, now more than ever, I mean, it's a deal that no one would sign.
Right.
Yeah.
In their right mind, unless you're just desperate for their stamp of approval. It's not a good business model.
So who are you? So when you create a piece of music, who are you thinking of? Does it matter, or are you just doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for your act? Do you have anybody in mind? Like, what's the deal?
Take Me Up High, I actually wrote humming a little thing of music that I was humming these chords that I'd heard on something else, and I just kind of, while I was in that groove, I wrote the lyrics and the melody and, recorded it. And when that project came out, that's why they have so many remixes. They were all remixes of the original demo, which was never released. So,
okay. And did you shit on that demo or?
Well, I shit while recording it. And then to douche, I peed up my ass.
You don't want to shit on the tape though, because then it's hard to get it mixed. That's the trouble. There's specialists who
but
can
it makes
do
it funky if you are able to attract it.
That's true. And as long as they bake the tapes, they can kind of get anything off there they want, right?
Do you think
it's wake up every morning and think, gotta bake the tapes. Time to bake the tapes.
Bunny, serious question. Do you think it's funnier for me to shit and then piss on it, or to piss and then shit while I'm pissing on somebody else's shit?
Well, if you sit down and shit on a knife, you won't be alive to worry about what comes after.
Again, a good act, but you can only do it once, I guess.
A handful of times.
That's
a handful,
right.
Handful of times. So how much inspiration, if any, do you get from the Easter
Can
Bunny?
I ask you a serious question?
Wait. How much inspiration do you get from the Easter Bunny? And do you know that Easter was yesterday? It was also April Fool's Day.
I do get inspiration from it because I do love the spring colors, and I am partially colorblind, which
that's right.
That explains your makeup. All those choices
That's
that
right.
you made was like, why is she wearing that earring? Okay. Here's my really good one is when I actually put on two different color shoes and don't realize it, because it's sometimes the shades, if it's just like, they just don't hit me as hard as everyone else does. But Easter's already got its, bright, almost garish greens and pinks and pastel, color. And then to come to Hawaii and see the Easter colors as interpreted, Hawaii is a magical place because even the language, it has this lilting sound all its own. And then it's like the spellings and the pronunciation of the Hawaiian lingo is actually like Dr. Seuss took the Orient Express. It is just so cute.
That's awesome. The thing I like about Hawaii, a lot of jewel tones, a lot of rich colors, because I'm not a pastel girl.
Rich colors, and also only beige buildings, it seems. All of the big buildings are like it's fascinating here, though. Yeah. It's really important to just
a lot of
get out and explore. And to have nothing to do here is wonderful because it's very low key. And, I'm right downtown, but it's where it should be like a bustling early morning. But it's just everyone is relaxed. Yeah. It's also the place in the States where it doesn't feel like you're in the U.S. because most people are Asian,
right?
Or Indian or, Puerto Rican. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans here. So yesterday we had a Polynesian server at a juice bar and a look Jamaican, but they both had dreadlocks and they're listening to salsa music. So it's almost as if this island culture of Jamaica, Puerto Rico and, the Polynesians island, Philippines, it's just kind of the idea of this island culture replacing American culture as the predominant. It's fascinating to me in the same way that New Orleans says French in certain areas.
Right. Yeah, they have a lot of good expat dick there too. A lot of military dicks involved.
Well, not to mention that Creole boys are gorgeous, or boys that are part Creole, whether they're white or black. They are just gorgeous with a dark, flashing eye, and and my nephew's Creole, but I don't see him like that.
Well, I would hope not, you incestuous cunt from hell.
Oh, back to the music thing for a minute. When you started making music, who were your favorite performers, and who made you want to sing?
The first record I bought was Rags to Rufus, the album with Rufus featuring Shaka Khan. Then it was just Rufus because not everyone had found out how fab she was.
Right.
So that was that and Oliver, the soundtrack song, was a twisted, conflicted queen. From funk to Broadway, I was a mess. So I loved soul, the Jackson 5, disco, Patti LaBelle, Shaka Khan, all of it. You know,
Sure.
Gladys Knight, Melba Moore, Janice Williams, all the greats.
Yeah.
Are you just reading out of a phone book right now?
No.
It's
Honey,
the
if
hotel
I-
register. The hotel register. They're having a big convention.
If they were having that convention, I would move here. If my phone book, if my phone book contained those girls' numbers,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on the phone to you.
Yeah. So I want to pay Lady Bunny some compliments. So I think if
How
I
about
had,
just pay me?
yeah, seriously, I think if I
My name
think
is RuPaul. Pay me.
I think that you're my favorite living live performing drag queen in the world.
Oh my God.
Because you do original material, you do you compile original set lists, you DJ, and here's the part that I enjoy the most. You fucking while out on the motherfucking dance floor, you stupid bitch. If you ever seen Bunny in action, it's transcendent. She goes ham, literally, Easter ham. And it's incredible.
Totally Easter ham.
Easter ham.
Yes.
And those tiny mules with no backs. She wears the most they look to the untrained eye. You look at these like clear lucite mules with no back or no strap, and you're like, how in the hell?
Yeah.
How in the hell? And how do those heels stay on, Bunny? Seriously.
But they have a strap on the back.
No,
Of the
I've
sling
seen you with strapless mules on.
That's true. But I mean, if you look at, and I've asked my friend Milan, who is a dancer, I said, he always used to wear those dancery shoes that are kind of like strappy with like a 2-inch heel. That
Yeah, the ugly
Capezio,
ones, the uglies.
and they're so ugly.
They're so ugly.
And it's like, so I've been trying to experiment with shoes I can dance in, high heels that I can dance in. But I mean, I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes these girls give me the blues because when I DJ at the Monster, I don't wear any heels because
Thank God.
literally it's like the booth is the basement, and it's like the ceiling is low. So I have a choice. Take off your wig or take off your heels. It ain't gonna be the wig.
No,
So the heels come off, and sometimes the younger queens give me the blues because RuPaul's Drag Race. Now that's big, everyone has to do everything just like contouring, padding, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all got to be cookie cutter, and
Yeah.
never have any original. So I'm like, well, listen, honey, you're gonna see me in these flats, or you're not gonna see me.
Right.
And they say, oh, but Bunny, you can't wear the flats. I said they finally kept up that line of questioning. I was like, listen, honey. We're in a gay bar.
Yeah.
You go and find the fag who is more likely to fuck me because I've jacked my lard ass up on heels 3 or 4 inches, and you bring him over to me. If I want to fuck him, I'll put the heels on. Got it?
Do you know I knew a man, a very
I don't need heels to make me look like a woman. I need a burqa. Okay? A rainbow burqa, honey.
a rainbow burger, a hijab, honey.
With an assault weapon.
Yes, thank you very
Rainbow
much.
burqa with an assault weapon.
But couldn't it be from Toys R Us, even though it's now defunct?
We get a good price on it now.
Yeah. You could get it on sale, bun.
Toys R Us? Isn't that closed?
That's what I just said, defunct.
Oh, defunct. Okay.
You don't
sorry.
even listen to me anymore, Bunny. You don't even
anymore. Did I?
But Bunny and I went on tour, and
Yes, tell us about that.
yeah, no. Bunny and I went on tour, and we had some lovely bonding moments.
Hey everybody, this is Craig. I'm just interrupting the show to let everyone know that we are on Twitter at Katya and Craig, as well as Instagram as Katya and Craig. We have an email address, whimsicallyvolatile@gmail.com. And please subscribe on iTunes and leave a review. Thank you to everyone who's already left reviews. Thank you to everyone for all the lovely comments, and hope you enjoy the rest of the episode.
Bunny, in addition to providing some of the most compelling Dragoon entertainment, she is also one of the most biting and compelling political analysts. Analysts.
Social commenter.
Social commentator.
Commentator,
I believe.
that's right.
That's my opinion. I'm sticking
Commentator.
to it. Yeah, commentator tots.
Just a commentator.
Yeah. No, but she doesn't hold back, and she's run. Do you still do the Bunny blog?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still do my blog at ladybunny.net.
Mm-hmm. And you got great for the children out there who don't like to read more than 3 sentences on Twitter. I suggest you wiggle and waddle over to the Bunny blog on ladybunny.net and catch you a piece of some up-to-date, incisive political commentatorship. I mean, I'm not joking.
Especially if you are questioning both parties.
Yes.
And have trouble really, saying, okay, we know that Republicans are bad. We always thought that. And we know that Trump is really bad because he makes no sense and could be acting on a whim and may be too mired in legal cases to really do everything he wants to do. But the alternative to that isn't a viable alternative to us, because that alternative is the Democrats, and they have also, like the Republicans, proven themselves to be the party of continuing wars, which never end. And if you want to be a Republican, is to say I would not even entertain single payer health care, because I would rather let rich people have the tax breaks and pay for all these wars. Sadly, the Democrats are also, to be a Democrat is to say, I'm fine with half of my taxes paying for the military, so that I cannot have single payer. So if this last election, a lot of people found their voices in Bernie Sanders and a progressive voice just saying, hey, you can't have single payer or state-run healthcare the way every other country has it, because you have resigned yourself to apologizing to corrupt Democrats as well as Republicans. So if it works everywhere else, it can work here. It can never work, as gun reform cannot work with politicians bought by the gun industry, by the healthcare industry, or they're selling you war also, aren't they? Yeah. So, that's what makes our government tick. If you're okay with half of your tax dollars not going to benefit you, not to rebuild your infrastructure, but to destroy other countries which have never attacked you. And the key in that is looking, whenever it is argued that we need to go to war because of U.S. interests, that's a code word for they never attacked us.
Oh, right,
if we get attacked, I will sing the praises of our military like you've never heard. Those brave young men and women, who can actually, be able-bodied enough to defend us. Yeah. But because you don't want me in the military, honey.
Well, you don't want me in the military either, because I'll act a fool and get shot. But you know what, Bunny? You know what I've been doing? Besides fucking members of the military, is I've been listening to them, and these poor men and women come back to the United States with PTSD, with major anxiety.
I know they do.
And
my uncle did.
Yes, they are not cared for by the American health care system. What the fuck is that?
Bunny, what was your uncle's story?
My uncle's story is that he is a big, old, jolly uncle, my Uncle Bobby, my mother's sister. He served in the Vietnam War. And a few years ago, he told me that he was in a shopping center, mall, I think we call them, if you want just one syllable. You don't have enough room on that Twitter post. That he was in the shopping mall around Christmas, and a little kid had a toy gun who or some truck or something that rattled, and it made some noise behind my uncle as they were leaving, and my uncle, without thinking, grabbed it in a moment of PTSD inspired terror and broke the kid's toy and felt so guilty he had to go and buy it again because he was just on alert still decades later. Now, this is not a bad case of PTSD. He's able to work, not suffer from depression, not have any injuries. But, here's the thing. Trump made headlines only in a few areas because we don't really care about the vets. We don't really care about the soldiers. We only like to say that we do every May on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. We do not care about them if we do not question why they are being sent to war for nothing and risking their lives and coming back mentally ill, as they do with PTSD. Also, a lot of the homeless population are vets. So Trump is trying, this did not make headlines, but Trump is trying to make the VA, the Veterans, hospital, privatized, which is what all Republicans want, because they don't want a big government. A democratic socialist like Bernie Sanders, even though he doesn't say this, wants actually higher taxes because they want larger government to pay for the handicapped, to pay for the veterans, to pay for, people who are, transitioning, to pay for people who are mentally ill and can't work. I mean, or Social Security. Like the big government. This is Bernie Sanders. I wish he would say, if you want this state healthcare, you're going to have to pay more taxes, because that's what they all do. Any country that has that, France, Canada,
Right.
Cuba, they all have higher taxes. But it's hard to get elected on a platform of, hey, vote for me, I'll raise your taxes.
Right.
However, that is an intrinsic part. If you're going to have socialized medicine, you're going to have higher taxes.
Right.
But you will pay zero in monthly premiums. That's an important fact to remember. But anyway, Trump is trying to privatize the VA.
Yeah.
Now, this is when most Democrats would say, no, don't do that. However, under Obama, there were 2 times that the wait list for to get in, if you had PTSD, they were caught lying twice about cheating the vets by not letting them in to see someone, even if it's an urgent PTSD matter. For 6 months they were kept waiting, and the amount of time was fudged by the VA twice. So this isn't. This is not a good alternative. I mean, if you're going to make someone promise, I will lay down my life for you and you will get eternal health care, well, then you don't renege on that promise.
Right.
Regardless of what I feel about war,
Right.
you do not renege on that promise.
Do you think, Bunny, that do you think that capitalism does not allow for a sense of social solidarity? Or do you think there's something else? The greed and corruption has just gotten to a point and there's too many people. What do you think the fuck is wrong with America?
Well, listen, not everyone thinks that socialism is the answer.
Right.
I would love to research their campaign and find out, Joe Kennedy, how much Dianne Feinstein, Nancy Pelosi, the speaker who RuPaul had on TV as a judge on Drag Race. I'm like, that bitch doesn't know anything about drag. She doesn't know anything about politics. Like, great. It's like, really, I mean, Rue and I, who are old friends, this is what some made me laugh. And I've joked with you, Katya, about just for having being a drag queen with a Russian shtick name. Oh, yeah. I'm like, have you come under fire from any of these Russia paranoia?
I know.
I mean, because the whole arms is up. The whole country is up in arms over Russia, and it's like, wow. I mean, I'll happily. Sure, there's proof that there was some meddling, but on TV they're saying it was extreme meddling. I mean, that was 13 bots. Yeah. It's like, I mean, anyway, it's just there's like a witch hunt for anyone who dissents. Yes, Trump is horrible. But if you are horrible, and if your Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton cannot even win against Trump, then the Democrats are a failure. As the Democrats, in my mind, were a failure because a lot of these people who voted for, I think 9% of people who voted for Trump voted for Obama. So they are not racist, and they are not, nationalists or whatever. They're the nativists or whatever they call them. The people who are like, white is right and we're American, which makes no sense because Native American Indians are really American.
Right.
So yeah, it's much. I mean, I don't know if I answered your question about whether I mean, you didn't. But Obama started off with as the president, very popular president, with both houses of Congress, the House and the Senate, Democratic.
Yeah.
In the first midterm, he lost one house. In the second midterm, he lost the majority in the other house. At the same time, the 2/3 of the state senates are majority Republican now. 2/3 of the state governors are Republican. Now, I know there's racism. I know there's misogyny. I know there's, but there's also finances and the economy. Yeah. And for whatever reason, these people did not want to vote for Hillary, who was promising 4 more years. Did I slip up and say 8? 4 more years of Obama because they weren't doing well under Obama. So this wasn't all racism and anti-immigrant. So there were people who voted for Obama who went for Trump because they could not, they didn't want any more Obama.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get anywhere until we just have an open discussion about. I mean, if you deliver the White House, if your successor is a radically different Republican, and you've lost both houses of Congress and the whole country, state leadership have turned Republican, that's a repudiation of what you stand for.
Yeah. I think, tell me if you think this is way off base, Bunny. I think that in a general simplistic way, people want a father figure as a leader. And they're not, for whatever reason in America, they're not ready to have a woman be at the helm of the United States of America. And
I think you could be right.
Yeah, because I know that in Russia, you have Mother Russia, and Mother Russia needs a father. Seriously. But like for the simpletons in the countryside, they're like, no что, whatever happens. Because they couldn't give less of a fuck. They're out in Siberia. They're not getting, it's cold. They get vodka. And a lot of people just don't give a fuck as long as there's a man at home who's going to take care of business. But in America, cash is king. It's all about the cash. Cash is king.
But this is what drives people to the poll, their economic circumstances.
Right.
Now, another example is, Israel. In the last election, before his election in Israel, Netanyahu came to speak in the U.S. Congress at the invitation of Republicans. Now, it was perceived that that Obama considered this to be grandstanding, or that it was electioneering to use our legislature to make a political statement in your country. So there was all this hubbub about it. Obama went on to greenlight a $30 billion payment to Israel over the next 10 years to fund their defense. And I'm like, wow, we're looking at these recent attacks on peaceable protesters by Israel. And I'm like, so you were the president that was allegedly chillier to Israel, yet you greenlit the biggest payment. Okay, well, I guess you can. I mean, yeah, be an anti-Semite if you are actually paying us. I mean, this is just bizarre. I mean, it's like no matter what happens, even the Chile presidents give them the big cash to continue, doing this. So it's very nutty to me.
It's complicated. Do you think a woman will ever be president in the next 20 years?
Well, here's what I think. I don't know about that, and it could be. I hope so. I saw that Shirley Chisholm was running when I was a kid, and the first black woman to run. And I was like, even as I don't know how old I was, 10, 12, I thought, well, the optics of it certainly, I wasn't using the term optics at 10 years old, but I said the optics of it certainly look good for breaking, boundaries, so I support Shirley Chisholm. She got my endorsement. But here's the thing. I got an email from the Democratic Attorneys General. And I'm like, y'all are thinking, I thought she was going to talk about Drag Race.
Fuck them. Who cares?
What was I talking about? I can't remember.
The Attorneys General,
about Season 8 Drag Race.
Yeah.
And,
Miss Vanjie. No, you got a letter from the Attorneys General.
Okay, I got an email from the Attorney General. Yeah. Shit, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Are you getting a butt plug removed? I think she's filleting herself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
One of Bunny's talent is that she's able to so seamlessly and effortlessly flex her spine in a way that allows her Easter egg to just pop into her mouth.
Gotcha. And it's amazing because clearly she was preparing for that for the last few minutes, and you didn't even notice there was no change of breath. There was no kind of discomfort.
With Bunny, it's all a big facade.
Yeah,
it's a hoax. It's an Easter hoax.
Right.
She's the ultimate stunt queen. She leads you down this rabbit hole of political analysis.
Hoo-ha, really, yeah.
A hoo-ha and brouhaha.
Indeed.
A lot of a hullabaloo. And then at the last minute, she just fucks herself silly.
And just
she goes
right in, yeah. And she has risen again.
Mama, she always rises. She hops, actually.
Oh, okay.
But while she
Hi.
Jesus Christ, she's risen.
No, that's my friend from Hawaii. She's coming to pick me up. Anyway,
you gotta go.
I was explaining this on the other line. I had you on hold. Sorry, I don't know how to work my phone. So anyway, but let me decimate all the politicians.
Okay, yes, do it. Go.
So I got a letter from the Democratic attorneys general saying, a bunch of them saying we've got to elect more women and here's how we're going to do it. And I thought, well, I'm all for women having equal representation as I am all races, religions or gender. Please. But if you elect a woman who isn't actually standing strong on women's issues like abortion, like equal pay for women, then you do not have a woman who is a very good leader with women's issues. So I'm not checking to see if you have a vagina or whatever. It's like, and having a vagina, unlike this email of the Democratic Attorney General, that does not necessarily make you qualified, to if you don't have women's issues at heart. I mean, we just had Hillary Clinton run, and do you remember from her campaign, her going, making it a key issue that she would get the women wouldn't make 70% or 76% of what men make, that they would be paid equally? I don't remember that as being a major point in her campaign. Why not? What woman doesn't want to be paid what men are paid?
Yeah.
What Republican women want that, surely.
Yeah, they sure do.
So I don't understand why that wasn't a bigger, point in her campaign. But if I'm an idealist and I'm not always practical, but I will say that if you are practical and you take the temperature of the country and the results are that so many people are against having a woman that you will not win by running a woman, then your party is not going to win. If you run a woman, you can sit and wish that the country was ready to run a woman, but and how wrong it is that they are not because of their religion or because of their internalized, misogyny or whatever. But if a woman can't win and you need to win or you get Trump, well, then we've got Trump.
Right.
If you offer a woman who can't win.
Yeah. It's the crisis of, do you want a deadbeat dad or a mom who looks, you know what I mean? It's like.
Or a mom who molests you.
Well,
in favor of the banks and sells you a house that with a mortgage that can't. I mean, yeah.
But Bunny, wait. Serious question. If I sell you mortgage-backed securities, will you molest me?
What?
You're supposed to gift those,
if I sell you
want.
mortgage-backed securities, will you come into my room at night and tell me, ow?
Well, let me just say it this way. I would put a knife on the condom with you.
Would it be serrated, though? That's the question.
If I offer,
that would give ribbed for your pleasure.
Bunny, if I flew down to Hawaii this very moment and offered you some REIT derivative stock, would you tell me,
You know that's my default answer for every question.
Sometimes, Craig, Bunny will call me, not so much recently because we're in a fight.
Okay.
But sometimes Bunny calls me and breathlessly whispers sweet somethings into my ear like this. Is that not true, Bun Bun?
That is an exact replication.
The mimicry level here is really impressive.
Well, I would love to be able to mimic some of Katya's memorable moments. She just hasn't had any.
And it's sad, really.
But even though when I have toured with Bun Bun, sometimes being under the influence, sometimes not, but always being a manic mess, she has offered nothing but a calm, cool, and collected olive branch of friendship.
Yeah, I'm real good with telling everyone else what to do. My own life is a mess, but I give the greatest advice. I just don't seem to take it myself.
Same here. Birds of a feather hop together.
I can just zing through to the root of your craziness and miss all of my own.
Have you ever thought of being a therapist? Because you already are one. Plot twist.
Plot twist. Tell me where your cunt is.
Did you know
Tell me where that turd is?
Oh my God! There's a gerbil in my ass. Wait, let me. If I can remember, Hold on. Oh, God damn it. I've heard it a million times. One of my favorite jokes, and this is disgusting.
Good.
This is disgusting, Craig. My favorite bunny jokes, and I'm going to try to imitate her voice. How do you get a gay guy to fuck a woman?
How?
Shit in her cunt.
That's a family joke.
That is disgusting, buddy. And you are oh, God.
I have a question, actually. So if you were on tour together, sometimes Brian was on substances, sometimes not. Did you notice a marked difference in him during those times?
You can answer honestly.
I don't think she was on substances during that trip.
At this point, it's hard for me to remember because I have, depending on the energy level, what I've found out is that I am naturally just a twacked out mess. A tweaker. Just naturally a tweaker.
Well, because I've never, I mean, sometimes in retrospect, when you've told me that, oh, that was the day after I did something,
Sure.
then I thought, oh, okay, I kind of see that. But at the time, there's nothing really markedly different.
No, but sometimes, Bunny, Bunny and I we've traveled the world. She has more than I have.
And also when you travel with someone like that,
Right.
it's a whole different level of knowing the other person's
Right.
habits. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually
But I mean, we were on a pretty grueling schedule.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you did, it was after we got off work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the kind of person. I was never, for me, I was never a party girl.
Yeah.
I was always like a manager. Like I would manage my own meds. And of course they just ran me into the ground. But I was never wanting to go to sleep.
Right.
I just always wanted to stay up. And I always I ran myself ragged because I realized I was doing an unmanageable schedule, which is of course my fault at the end of the day. But I just wanted to be happy all the time. That's plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, the schedule was sort of your fault. You were kind of new and to the, I mean, this Drag Race hadn't even started airing, and you'd never toured back to back, night to night on anything. I would
never.
assume.
Never. I never left Boston.
Okay, so this was your first tour, really?
Yeah. When I got on Drag Race, I hit the road and really never came back.
Sure, right.
Like-
For about how long would you say?
I don't know, but like 2 years, 3 years,
It's a long
something
time.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then and Bunny, and then the social media. We never really take a day off.
Right, because we can always claim that we're not
Working.
wasting time on social media, but we're quote networking. Quote.
No, seriously, be like, I'm polishing my brand. It was like, bitch, you're just fucking wasting time on Twitter.
Bunny, could you describe for those who haven't been on a tour kind of what the grueling schedule of a tour is like?
Well, sometimes, the one that I went on most recently, Work the World, where we went to Canada and all around this country. You actually arrive not at a hotel room in each city, but you arrive at the theater.
Oh yeah.
And so then you'll be there from like 6 to maybe 1 a.m.
Sure.
And I'm like, how do you have a call time of 6 and then go to 1 a.m.? You're booked for 20 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
How does that turn into 5 hours?
Right.
Well, the meet and greets.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not about what you do on stage. It's getting a picture with them to make your feed look better. Listen, there's worse things than people wanting a picture with you. When you're the forgotten booger at the bar alone and no one wants your pictures, then you have to worry. But so, I mean, it's a catch-22, but it also just means, just not complaining about it, but just except in terms of sitting for 5 hours in an uncomfortable wig or sitting, for 1 hour. That's what, so then you leave, then you don't go to a hotel room. Right. You shower at the hotel and get in a minibus that has these coffins, unless you're Latrice who had to use the whole back room because she couldn't fix fit in one of the coffins. Not that I'm petite, but anyway, it was, so then you don't sleep well because the bus is, quite noisy.
Sure.
And then you arrive at the theater again, and it's just like, even if that was much. I mean, that was really, really tough.
It's grueling.
When you haven't had any rest, good sleep,
sure,
and you're subjected to like sold out crowds every night, which again is a dream, but I'm just talking about behind the scenes. Yeah. I mean, you want to sell out the biggest venues in town. That's a joy. But, and you love to see big crowds, vibing off of your nonsense.
Sure.
But behind the scenes, that makes, when you haven't even had the benefit of a good night's sleep, and girl, you've been on this tour for a while. You get real. I mean, you look forward to those days off. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And also, you're not really eating that well usually. Like maybe you get some good
chips
food.
and dip, honey.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe a vegetable, maybe a carrot and celery stick thrown in there somewhere.
So it's not really any surprise when people sort of get a little dependent or rely on either booze or other substances in the midst of all of this.
Well, you can't control anything. So if you have a tendency to, use something, it might very well be to establish your order, i.e. your addiction on your life.
Yeah.
You can control your feelings by using something. You can go to sleep, or you can stay up, or you can knock out some work, or you can cruise on for sex or whatever. That's when you can't control anything, and even rest, then you may need something to give you a kick for the show, or bring you down from the show because you only have a couple hours of sleep, so you have to sleep when. If you've had coffee, because you're already tired from the different cities, then you can't go to sleep after the coffee.
Right.
So you need a sedative. So it's just it does become an up and down, but really the only thing that matters is what you do on stage. I mean, some of the younger dancers, I was like, oh my God, y'all are literally you're going out to a club. We're all too exhausted to even smile.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's, it's that finding the balance between personal satisfaction and professional, responsibility is like, I mean, I guess that's kind of, it's naive to say that it's a little hard to find that balance, because look at all the greats who have just died from drug overdoses, from sedatives, a little too many sedatives. And it's just like, oh God, yeah, that's right. Touring is just plain hard. And I find that there's if we are allowing ourselves to be too responsive and receptive to the comments and feedback of our audiences, then we're too vulnerable to kind of pull away and say, no, I can be grateful and also pull back and don't need to give every inch of my life away.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, in a sense, whenever someone, tweets at you or comments on an Instagram photo, in a sense, that is a fan letter.
Yeah.
Even though it's addressing, perhaps in a humorous way. I love it when it is, reading me or whatever, on a photo, it's like, I love that. But it's also, are you the type that has a manager answering your fan letters with something generic?
Yeah.
Or, because, it used to be when you mailed a letter, it was probably going to be something, like a little more important than a toss away line.
Sure.
Yet that was a fan mail that, they cared enough to actually write this letter. I'm not saying everyone switched to snail mail, again, but I'm just saying that it is an adjustment to know. I mean, to think that you have to juggle everyone's response if you are connected. I mean, with someone who has 3 email accounts, email from a website, Instagram, Twitter, 2 Facebook pages. I mean, you have to just make it clear how much time you want to spend on this, and because it's real easy for someone who is easily distracted to get on there and just like have this high from that.
Yeah. I mean, I read all the fan mail. I do. Yeah. I read all of it. I don't respond to all of it just for obvious time constraints.
Right.
And I don't read it in a timely fashion, but I don't have anybody personally sorting through my fan mail or sorting through my email. But there's a strange thing that happens, Bunny, that's like when the shock of Drag Race is like, you have to contend with the fact that you are not as talented and accomplished as drag queens who've come before you and who earn their success through the hard work of pounding the pavement. But you receive so much more, in a sense, undue acclaim because of the television stardom. And then you have to like kind of negotiate, okay, I get to be colleagues with people who were once my idols, but the playing field is not even close to level. So it's kind of like, okay, where do I actually receive the adulation from? Can I trust my colleagues to say, hey, you're doing a good job, or you're not doing a good job? And even though the fans could be screaming for yes, 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 you're the best, but you're in your heart, you're saying, well, no, I'm not that good because I didn't do anything here. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense? No? Okay, moving on.
Well, yes, because but what happens when you're broadcast on TV is that you're reaching all kinds of people. You're reaching drag fans. You're reaching young people who've never even been out to a club, but who love drag and hey, love us, but they've never been in a club. They don't know, anything to compare it to other than Drag Race.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I think
and you're also getting housewives who don't know anything about drag, or some straight people, or whatever. But it's like they know what's what on that show.
Right. But see, if you've never seen Bunny in action, you probably don't have AIDS. And
but you will get it by the time I finish.
But it's pure joy.
Yeah,
like that's the thing about, and that's the thing I always loved about working at Jacques Cabaret in Boston. It was like you were either there or you weren't, and there was no YouTube. I'm sure there was YouTube. I'm not 150,000 years old, but we didn't put stuff on YouTube. We only did that once a year during our anniversary shows.
Sure.
And so it's like it became a meeting spot where people like met each other, and fags like became in relationships and then broke up at Perestroika. And then you know what I mean? Like once a month, it was like the place to be for a good long time. And often we sucked on stage, but who fucking cares?
Well, that's part of the ephemeral magic of an event, a monthly thing, or
a live
whatever it
show.
is. Yeah.
Whether it's in a rinky-dink gay bar where you have to get ready on a milk crate above a furnace, or at the theaters in England where Bunny and I performed at.
Sure.
These gorgeous theaters, Bunny. Gorgeous.
Oh, gorgeous. And I mean, we were performing in places that had photos of David Bowie and Tom Jones.
Right.
It sold out crowds, and it was just really thrilling. I mean, if you love the history, especially.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of history, can we talk a little bit about you co-creating Wigstock?
Sure. Well, many years ago, we were drinking at the Pyramid Club in the mid-'80s, and the bar closed, and they kicked us out. And we went over to Tompkins Square Park across the street and entertained on this large band shell several homeless people who were rather underwhelmed as they were trying to sleep at that time. So we were like, no, we feel you. You're homeless. We're homely. We were clowning around several very, very drunk people, some that worked at the Pyramid, one Wendy Wild, who performed at Wigstock every year, but she passed away, a true genius who I saw perform at the Pyramid one night. And she was in some original music playing band, and she did this keyboard solo. I said, Wendy, my God, that keyboard solo was phenomenal. I didn't know you even played keyboard. And she said, I didn't until tonight, but I'm glad you liked the solo. I took 2 hits of acid and was seeing 2 keyboards. And I was like, I mean, even though it's a joke and everything, I mean, it's like the music in this woman's soul was so much that she could be fucked up out of her mind, and just because she is music, anything that comes out of her trembling hands struck this fool, who was probably fucked up on something different, as genius. I mean, it was just totally phenomenal. So there was all this talent there. The Pyramid only held 250 people. There were bands playing every weekend, the kind of jack off guitar playing 15-minute solo, kind of thing. And I just thought, ooh, we can do better than that with all the Pyramid, because there was very interesting drag. And I'd come from Atlanta, Georgia, where, the drag was great, but it was, very traditional celebrity impersonation, Tina Turner, Cher, Joan Rivers, whatever, and impersonations. So coming to the Pyramid Club, where they were impersonating Janis Joplin or, the Madonna, not Madonna, but the Madonna. I mean, sorry, not Madonna, Mona Lisa, getting my Italian names mixed up. But yeah, it was just, there was a Queen John Kelly who impersonated that painting as like a live painting. It was absolutely hysterical with the smile of Mona Lisa. And so I just thought we need to bring this to a bigger audience, and it got bigger and bigger every year. And first year was a little, iffy, but it was definitely a vibe. And we just wanted to be together, because at that time it was a paradise stricken with AIDS, which had just started happening and being identified. But we were a real community then, perhaps more of a community, because groups like ACT UP were flying off the handle at the government for
Yeah.
not approving AIDS drugs, or Reagan didn't even say the word AIDS until maybe, I mean, it was just they were shocked by the government's lack of response because this was considered a gay disease or a disease which affects people of color.
Was it deep into his second term that Reagan finally said it on TV, or sort of said it?
I don't remember this, but I do remember this. In Hillary Clinton's campaign, she thanked Nancy Reagan for starting a conversation on AIDS.
Right.
She said, "For one little thing, Hillary, you truth teller."
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan never started that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And gays were flying off the handle at Hillary after she said that. But they quickly forgave her because it's like, whatever, the Hillary magic that appeals to older gays and not to younger.
Yeah.
It's like, younger folks, I don't understand your video games and your music. It sucks, but we can talk politics, honey.
Yes, God.
Back to what you were saying. So the ACT UP was really kicking off.
Well, the fear of AIDS made the sense of community stronger. Plus, we all lived around the East Village.
Yeah.
So there was no, in New York, you don't drive, so we don't worry about drunk driving. But, it was a quick taxi ride or walk to several clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So, we all lived in that neighborhood. So it wasn't like, now there's still pockets of fun in New York City, but do I really want to take an $80 cab ride to Bushwick?
Jesus Christ. It's so,
and see
expensive.
one club, you know what I mean?
Right.
See one club as opposed to hitting a bunch in the same area, which is also the area where you live. Because I don't know about you, but I'm a slut. And when you get fucked up, you want what? Dick. Okay, so you need to have the dick near your home, because if you get home, the dick isn't good and you're too stupid to have felt it up in the bathroom or whatever, then you might have to run back out.
Was that also the era of the after-hours clubs, like what Save the Robots?
Yes, it was, honey. And this thing left with a full beard, which was fully exposed. Grinding that makeup off on your pubic hair. Those nuts hit my chin in a deep throat fantasy. One nut per chin.
Buddy, have you always
had 3?
Would you describe yourself as a whimsical slut?
Yes, I would.
Thank you.
I'm saying I'm a wannabe slut, because I'm really not the whore that I was.
Yeah, I'm not either these days.
I mean,
it's a young girl's game. Shit.
Well, I ran around all over the world tainting these men. I'm not going to let y'all deal with the after.
Oh. Do you ever look in the mirror and say, "Oh"?
Yes.
Do you jerk off, buddy?
Yes.
You do? What do you think about when you jerk off?
I think about Roxy Andrews' mom.
Driving away from the bus station?
Do you think about riding the bus with my fister?
Yeah.
Toilet seat and aisle number 9.
There's a dildo on the front of Roxy Andrews' mom's car.
God.
And
Oh my God.
Right after she dropped Roxy off
Stop it.
at the bus stop, I was in the middle of the road with my legs open, so I wasn't concerned about Roxy.
It's such a small world, right? It's
You
so crazy.
are the most. Have you ever received a certificate for the most rotted cunt bag in the world? May I make you one?
The death certificate.
One day, I mean, this like rheumatic, fucking wheeze is just gonna.
Please stop trying to work RuPaul's.
I like that. The branding that you're doing on that.
That was RHEU for all you out there, you misspellers. Well, Bunny, I'm hard now, so I need to go jerk off.
Your face is hard. Your teeth are not.
No, they're soft, like the peeps I shoved up my pussy.
Please lick those soft, warm, red, long, silky bedroom teeth of yours that drive me wild.
Wait, you want to palpate my gums before you finger blast my sister's puss?
Plumeria! That's the flower in Hawaii. Plumeria!
All right, Lady Bunny, you are a goddess.
Oh, a Hawaiian goddess.
Yes, come on, I want to lay
goddess.
You. Yeah.
Okay, girl.
Before we stop, I really want to know what your thoughts are on Roseanne's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what we were talking about before. And also, you said if there was, any hint of dissent. So I'm curious as to your take on Roseanne's take on Trump.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. Half of this country did not vote. So they are either uninterested or feel left behind by the political process, or just don't even know enough to care.
Yeah.
So those people are out there, and they're going to watch whatever show they want because politics does not figure into their lives. They don't debate it passionately. Yeah. They don't care. They don't feel they have a horse in that race.
Yeah.
Oddly, a lot of people of color who would, to me, they would be more impounded by, economic issues as offered in different, game plans by Republican, Democratic, progressive, whatever. That it is a lot of them that say, I don't have a horse in that game. I don't vote. So, those people are going to watch the show. It was a hit show in the 90s. I even have some Democratic friends who everyone jumped down their throat because they posted, I watched Roseanne, and here's what I liked about him. So they're like, no, don't normalize Trump. And I understand that because Roseanne has said some crazy stuff. She does seem unhinged, but she said some crazy stuff about Trump.
Yeah.
About Trump freeing, lots of kids who are being sold as sex slaves. Like sex trafficking and his great role in, undoing that. Well, I don't know what her news source is, but I don't think that is happening.
Right.
I would listen. I may be wrong, but I also know that she's very gung ho with. She's Jewish and she very much supports Israel.
Yeah.
And we're seeing Trump try to move the capital from Tel Aviv, where it is now, to Jerusalem, which would cause pandemonium. And I can only think that the reason Trump wants that is to provoke, so that he can have war, neighbors, who would be drawn into the conflict because you see, Jerusalem is claimed as the holy city by Muslims and Jews, and I believe one other faith.
Mm-hmm.
So this would cause but the reason I think Trump wants to do it is A, Republicans always want more war, and B, there's a lot of stupid evangelicals who back Trump, and they believe that the second coming will not come until there's been a conflict in the Middle East. And this is what Trump is ginning up for the evangelicals. They think that, Jesus won't be born again until that shit happens. So,
well, those are a bunch of stupid fucks who just want the whole planet to be blown up.
Yeah.
But so a lot of people are making this even with a friend who's a staunch Democrat, Hillary supporter, they're making the point that maybe they didn't want to read her because she's trans. Yeah, we got the point where it's, don't question anyone who's trans because you might be flying in the face of a marginalized community and say, excuse me, honey, you can be a woman that's wrong. You can be a trans that's wrong.
Hello, Miss Jenner.
Being a trans doesn't mean everything you say is right or true.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's become this really bizarre thing where there's my trans friend was saying, I watched Roseanne. Everyone's saying, no, don't normalize Trump.
Right.
We're the resistance. What? And I'm like, well, I believe Earth to, Snowflake or whatever you want to call him. Trump normalized himself when he won.
He sure did.
I do not think crazy Roseanne, people may have been glad that she was, supporting Trump if they supported him and looked to her as a celebrity. But she did not win the election for Donald Trump. The election for Donald Trump, he did hit upon something which some see as charisma. I don't. Then I have to ask, are we giving reality shows too much credit if a reality star, not even a real TV star, who can act with something on a script, is being rewarded for being a train wreck asshole and running around the country, questioning Obama's birth certificate and stuff like that, So the thing is, Trump normalized himself when he won. So I think it takes a real, mixed up feeling, still hurt that Hillary didn't get elected, to try and be claiming stuff like that, because it's like, he won. You lost. You actually lost. You backed someone who lost to Trump. You did not back Bernie Sanders. You did not jump in and protest when the Democrats, cheated in the DNC, cheated Bernie Sanders so that Hillary could win. I mean, this is not even debatable.
Right.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the head of the DNC, stepped down as a result. So it's like, and then her replacement, Donna Brazile, she fed Hillary email questions in advance of the CNN debate. So it's like you got to stop looking at the DNC and Democrats as good people. They are corrupt too in different ways.
Yeah.
Are they as bad as the Republicans? I don't think so, because I'm from the left. But I'm a little further left than the Democrats if the party leadership is saying they do not consider single payer or the healthcare system in any other country. But so I don't understand this boycotting thing. And I mean, the boycotting thing really backfired or didn't have any effect because it's had more ratings than anything. So whether people, listen, there's been this thing where the left feels dismayed that their candidate lost to Trump, and they should, because how do you lose to that? You really have to be offering a rotten crook with an awful hawkish foreign policy record and, in the hands of banks and the military machine and oil. I mean, Hillary was selling fracking as Secretary of State. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And it wasn't, Hillary was a shift towards the corporate Democrats, which Obama was too. I'm not just down on Hillary. I'm down on anyone that represents corporations more than people, which Donald Trump does an extreme version by cutting taxes, on the wealthy. Anyway, I think I'm getting away from the actual answer to the question, but I don't understand. Maybe it's a good thing. This is what the gist of what some of the people who went against the boycott Roseanne thing, they're saying, I think it's actually good that it's a good representation. However crazy Roseanne might be, it's a good thing that, the average middle of America, family is mixed up. I don't mean, is a combination of left, right, older, younger, questioning its gender, liberal, mom, older Republican grandmother. So I think that is an accurate representation, because younger people are exploring their gender more now, which is great. And, it worked for me. I did it before it was, before it was cool. Yeah.
Wait, Bunny, when are you going to run for president?
I'm never going to. I prefer to throw stones wherever there is hypocrisy.
Okay. That's good enough for me.
But I'll put a knife on your stone.
But will you cut out my kidney stones, Bunny? All right, now go get some Hawaiian pussy, bitch. We're going to go smoke a cigarette.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Bunny.
My pleasure. Love ya.
Love ya. Cool. That fucking bitch is amazing.
That was good. Let's tape one now.
Okay.
So can she just do that exact thing?
Yeah, the whole thing again. That was a warm-up.
No, that's great. Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
Word for word.
It's whimsically